So, hello, my name is Leila Fawaz. I'm going to teach a new course at the Fletcher School uh, this spring, and that's very exciting. It's very rare to have a completely new course introduced into the syllabus. It is about, the title is wonderful too. It's about a century of transformation, Western Middle Eastern relations from the 1920s to the present. And the reason it's very interesting, it's the century where everything changed in the Middle East. And by doing so, it changed everything in the relations between the West and the Middle East. Before that century, the Middle East was always like a subject to the Europeans, but this is no more true in this century of transformation, in our century. And so the course discusses the evolution of the relations between the West and the Middle East as Western powers who prior to that century used to beg for attention from the Europeans and from the Ottoman Turkish Empire that ruled the area, uh, trying to get favors like, can we build a church? Can we build this, that in the Middle East? They were always trying to find ways to make money, to be in the economy of the region. They wanted to be involved with the new great powers meaning, of course, the European powers at the time. But at different times after this period that we start the course with, the 1920s, the great powers of the region could only work by cooperation with people from the Middle East. And so they came first as outsiders seeking special favors from local companies, local dynasties, local Western groups. But with time, they were no more the beggars who wanted favors. They became the rulers who were really coming up with ideas on what they will allow and not allow in the Middle East. And so along the way, we see that there were a few war situations. There were also people who were at the beginning completely in the Middle East and began to think, why don't I also become a European? Why don't I become what they call a subject of the Europeans? And so they changed loyalty and affiliation, and that also changed the whole history of the modern Middle East. So it's really a course about deep, serious, and lasting transformation between people in the West and people in the Middle East, and how their dependency on one another was lasting, but also changing enormously from a relationship of almost equality to a relationship of the opposite of equality, where people from the Middle East really saw themselves as subjects of the great powers, the Ottomans, mostly the Europeans, where they would need to ask for favors to get what they could get before without asking for them. And the response of these people is what we call really nationalists. They became more and more conscious of their role, the fact that they were national people from the region, but they wanted change. They wanted changes in the 19th, 20th, and 21st century. And they adjusted to the new world very smartly, taking advantage wherever they could of people in the West who were sympathetic to them, but also learning from them how to manage a society, a country, economic relations, social relations that they were not experienced with, but they became very important in them by making alliances with local people. So they used the local people to learn about other parts of the world and to know how much they, under new occupiers, could change identity but also remain who they were. So it's an evolution of a relationship, and that evolution has affected everything from then till now, especially now, of course, with all the situations that are happening in the Middle East and the continued change between the little people and the big people, and how some people really managed very well and some people did not manage well. So this course meets once a week, and once a week on Mondays in the afternoon, and has 2 hours of serious conversation between the students in the room and the faculty. And it has worked very well in the past, because although this course is new, we had another course that shaped itself along those lines and that worked very well. And the topics have all been put in your syllabus, which is extremely detailed and good. And it shows you the evolution and the transformation of modern times in one very important part of the world. And here you see that all we required for that course is first attendance, of course, to the class once a week, but also to write a research paper. Again, it's not too ambitious, it's only 20 typed pages to give to the professor at the end of the semester. 20 pages to me seems to be the right way to think of a topic, and not get involved in too many issues. But once you understand that topic, you really are understanding all that's happening in the region. And in addition to that, to the paper, there will be part of the paper will be a class presentation by the students, very short. The first one will be just a few, let's say 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, on what they would like to write about, what they would be interested in. And then at the end of the course, they will give a longer presentation, maybe half an hour or less. But the point of the presentation is to tell them why they are now doing it, what they are excited about in this presentation, and the topic is entirely their doing. They can do it, they choose the topic, and they can participate in class, because this class presentation usually is a small part of their uh, whatever 20% of the final grade, and the presentation is even smaller, and the paper itself about 60% of the grade. So there is a research paper, then there is a personal relationship between the students themselves and those involved in it, because they have to explain to others why their topic is important. And then we have a bunch of readings to do, which the students can do at their leisure in different ways. And also, in addition to the readings, we we hope that they are also being familiar with the region and reading articles. I have found that articles sometimes are very, very useful instead of long books, because it gives you a sense of the region. And after that, when you continue to study the region, you can change the structure and learn much, much more. So we have several readings that will be on your syllabus, and you can choose those that you are interested in. But the only thing that matters to us really is you are the topic, how you are interested in it, why it is important. Why is the topic important? That is what should get you excited about the course. And we have had no trouble getting people excited about studying that region of the world. And then after that, we will see how uh, you would like to write a paper on a topic of your choice, something you find interesting. And we will discuss that with you in private, the professor and the student, and see if the topic you have selected is something you would like to connect to earlier experiences of your life, or something totally new for you. So the research paper is very important in that it opens to you the possibility of using what you already knew before, but also to learn at the same time why this part of the world continues to be significant, and why even from World War One, people have studied very strongly and continue to study that region of the world.